I think he is just tailor-made for this thing, this scheme. And we've talked about it this week that him falling to them. Do you know who I would compare him to a little bit? Is looking back, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. Like Debo fell in the draft, but we've seen guys fall to like the early 30s, right? Carr, guys that if you could do it over again, at worst are like picks in the teens. Like that happens. To me, when you go like 50 to 60, it's like, what's up there? And remember, DK and AJ both came from Ole Miss right at the time when Hugh Freeze and the hookers and payments and shit was just getting really weird. Like Ole Miss was just viewed as like, shit, it's just a crazy place. But looking back, it's like, well, who cares? Look at those two guys.
Right.
In what world, A.J. Brown, honestly, even more than Debo. Like you just put those two guys, you and I were at practice today, Brandon Marshall, I am athletes there. Pac-Man came to us. It's crazy how small he is. Brandon Marshall is how wide's the field? 53 yards?
I think 52 and a half. Yeah, 52 and a half.
52. He's at minimum 60 yards. It is so clear that Brandon Marshall is humongous. Like, he could have been 7 football fields away, and you'd be like, who the fuck is that massive human being?
The group of guys he belonged with was Armstead, Kinlaw, Omenahu. Like
absolute freak. Yeah,
Trent Williams.
Well, that's A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. And I think Drake, it's a little different. Like, I don't think Drake Jackson quite looks like Javon Kinlaw walking in the door. But in terms of, I'm telling you, guy, I feel pretty confident on this. I think by about mid-season, a conversation's going to be, because of the position he plays, and if he just gets 7-8 sacks, throughout the season, but they play in some primetime games and it's Ben, how on God's green earth did this guy land in the Niners' lap at the end of the second round at a pass rusher?
Yeah.
We all find tight ends and linebackers and safety. Pass rushers, tackles, quarterbacks, like, let's face it, that's pretty consistent. Like, to get sweet ones, you draft them in the top 15 picks. Drake Jackson's going to be whatever, pick 61. It's going to be like, wait, that guy, right, gets to play next to Bosa? What is going on here? He had a couple, he brings to the table. Sometimes guys fall because they're stiff or they just only have one move or they can't quite bend. This guy is powerful. His bend, you notice today, like his arm length is just like, Jesus. He's talented, man.
He had one thing, and I'm no OL masterminds. I'm not Jeff Schwartz here, knowing like what all the hand fighting's like. But I would say one thing, just watching him in like trying to describe it in regular terms, he disengages from the offensive lineman very quickly, right? Like the ball is snapped. He goes right at McGlinchey. McGlinchey goes at him. And then it's not so much that he's throwing him. He just gets out of that to like this really low bend and turns the corner around McGlinchey. And you said, because I hit you, I'm like, let's just watch this matchup. And bam, he delivered. And as you said, it's a tough matchup for McGlinchey. He had 3 straight snaps, albeit, it wasn't against Trent. I'd love to see him against Trent some more. He had 3 straight snaps against the rookie tackle Sam Schlueter from Minnesota. And it wasn't anything. It's not like so much that he dominated him as much as watching Drake Jackson all 3 plays. It just seemed like he got to where he wanted to go. Now, again, that's not, he's not going to be facing rookie right tackles, but he just looks very, very comfortable on the field. Like he belongs. He looks like he belongs.
Yeah, on the one play where he got McGlinchey, it was a relatively quicker pass. I would say he was all over the quarterback in less than a second and a half. Like he would have been there quick, right?
The pass went the other way, right? If the ball's coming at him, it's a problem.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance. You remember we did the exercise, like how hard it would be, and pretty consistently, the rookie defensive player of the year isn't like a standout rookie. He's always like the best, like a top 5 player in the NFL on defense.
Right.
Like Micah Parsons last year everyone was like, is this Lawrence Taylor? Aaron Donalds? We've all heard the names over the years. And it's always, most of the guys go on to have like borderline Hall of Fame careers. Some of them Hall of Famers. Like it's Luke Kuechly. I mean, it's the best players in the NFL. It is consistently the best players in the NFL. If you're a defensive player of the year, the likelihood of the trajectory of your career should be toward Canton, Ohio, right? Not like an outlier season. So it's going to be very, very difficult for him to win it based on history. But I think he could have a season where it's like, is this one of the better rookies in the NFL? And part of it, he benefits from his team. But if you just went on sacks for rookies, I mean, if he can play 17 games, I don't think the 9 to 10-ish range is out of the realm of possibility, especially if they're going to be up in some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, Bosa's number was what, 9 his rookie year, I think. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Check that. I mean,
Khalil was 4.
I love doing this every time. Defensive rookies of the year: Micah Parsons, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Shaquille Leonard, Marshawn Lattimore, Joey Bosa, Marcus Peters, Aaron Donald, Sheldon Richardson, Luke Kuechly, Von Miller, and Ndamukong Suh, Brian Cushing, Gerard Mayo, Patrick Willis, D'Amico Ryan, Sean Merriman, Jonathan Vilma, Terrell Suggs, Julius Peppers, Kendrell Bell, Brian Urlacher, Javon Curse, Charles Woodson, Peter Boulware, Simeon Rice, Hugh Douglas, on and on and on. These are not defensive players of the year. Those are defensive rookies of the year.
So you listed out countless Hall of Famers and then guys that went on to have non-Hall of Famers but Pro Bowl guys.
Like you'd say guys that become defensive player of the year candidates immediately. Are defensive player of the year candidates in that year.
Yeah.
You're right. That's just you become like looking at Tony Baselli's resume at the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. It's like if you're an all-pro level player as a rookie, you've got a great shot to just be a 3, 4, 5-time all-pro. And then people are looking at you like, well, is he a Hall of Famer?
Well, it's like if you and I are filling out the ballot, like Micah Parsons is already on it in pencil for all pros, right? You just consider him, he's like already one of the best players, even though he's only played 16, 17 games, right? You just like, well, it's just going to continue. Bosa's a good example. The Bosa brothers, Aaron Donald, Kuechly. It's like, well, once I write you down immediately, I just assume on defense. Offense probably can be a little more hit or miss depending on the position, but maybe not. Like I bet tackles, like most, like Tristan Wirfs, like remember it was like he became an all-pro as a rookie. It was like all rookie team, and it was like he plays, he's sweet.
Yeah,
it's not like, well, he's just an outlier season. He shot 50% from 3. No, it's like, no, he blocked everyone he played. It's hard. Baseball and basketball, you can have outlier shooting or hitting seasons. In football, it's hard to have like a season where I don't allow a sack, and the next year, like I'm near the lead of the league of allowing sacks. Like it's probably not the way it happens.
You said Khalil. Like Khalil's a rare example, right, of a guy that couldn't sack the quarterback really as a rookie.
And when you say he was a little unique, just coming from a small school, was still pretty raw, but once he figured it out, basically year 2 was off to the races.
Also, having watched that rookie year, you would agree, I think he was
dominant
there
against
a lot. He just, for whatever reason, it didn't become a sack often. He was falling down.
Team sucked.
Aldon Smith had 14 sacks his rookie year, 19 and a half his second year.
Yeah. Well, didn't he have more sacks through 2 seasons like anyone in NFL history? I think that was like the stat. I'm pretty sure his rookie year, 11, I don't think he started. I mean, technically, I'm
14.
Sure if we
2011,
if we factored in like the play snaps, but remember it was like Aldon wasn't just like a full-time starter on that team.
Yeah, you're right.
But was he, in fourth quarters, was he getting the reps?
Here is video of Drake Jackson. The SF Niners on Twitter has it. Here we go. Pom-poms, and here we go. Is that a handspring? Is that what this is?
Guy, holy cannoli. How stupid are the athletes in the NFL?
He almost over-rotates, I think.
I didn't expect him to get that high, did you? When you first saw
it?
No.
He had no problem. He could have hung in the air another second and still landed that thing.
Jesus. Doesn't it look like he's kind of on a trampoline?
I could watch this all day.
Oh, my God. You think John's like, hey, let's be careful on those? He's so smooth. I mean, he's not even close to screwing up, really.
And how, I mean, he's tall, right? So he's got to get high in order to get his whole body around.
Could you do that into a pool?
I'd be afraid to do that into a pool.
Yeah.
Off a trampoline, on a trampoline, you could do it. But on the stream, Dan says that's a back layout, gymnastics background.
That's impressive. I would guess that Drake doesn't have a gymnastics background. That's just I'm a freak athlete, and I've just been screwing around in my backyard since I was about 7, right? Can you imagine some of the stuff he's done on like people's diving boards? because he did that into the pool, right? Imagine what he'd do on a diving board, like quadruple flips at that size. Like
You mean like
again,
on like an Olympic board? You're going to put him up in the air?
No,
Like
I would, but I just
3
mean just like
stories?
a normal diving board where he can get a little height. It's one thing, like when a skinny dude that's like 160 pounds does a couple flips. What's he, 255, 260 pounds?